KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, it's the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz. The number is 972-647-1893. And Bonnie Mathias is over there.
Good morning.
Let's start with your little revelation. What have you found out about this morning?
Okay, a little background. DISD voted in their budget last week, and in that budget, they are cutting 65 middle school teachers. I just drove by Thomas Rusk Middle School on Lemon Avenue near Love Field, and there is this banner hanging out front, hiring teachers.
They're hiring teachers while the ISD is laying off teachers.
So I'm going to get a snapshot of that when I drive back out of here. I stood in front of the school board last Thursday. It was last Thursday during the budget meeting, which was an absolute joke. And I told them, I believe this is a travesty that we are doing this to our children. I did find out that between 5th and 6th grade, the disciplinary referrals increased by 400%.
Wow. There's a bunch of stuff coming up besides the outrage over DISD, including on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We're going to have a listening session for the AFL-CIO. This is an opportunity for everybody who is interested in change in America. If you're interested in change in America, you surely must know that change comes when workers get organized. And that's really the only way change has ever come to this country, when workers got organized. So the AFL-CIO is actually inviting everybody. You don't have to be a union member. They're inviting everybody to these listening sessions all over the country. So we're going to have our first one. I guess it's the first one in North Texas. It'll be Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, 2218 East Main in Grand Prairie. That's my union hall, UAW 848. 2218 East Main in Grand Prairie, 7 o'clock Wednesday. Please come and vent your opinion. You know, if you think the labor is completely wrong and never did anything right, well, come and say so. And if you think that maybe they did a little bit right and here's some ways to improve it, we'll come and say that. Max Krochmal, who's a professor over at Texas Christian University, will start us off with a short explanation of what he thinks we have done right, because labor didn't do everything wrong. He's going to say that labor did some things right and in the past, and then we will go right on into what labor needs to do presently and in the future. Other things coming up. There's a meeting today at the La Madeleine. No, it's not today. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow
I think it's at 3 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
At the La Madeleine on Lemon Street. And the meeting will be what to do about the Texas legislature. And this is something that a lot of people are interested in, because they had a little bit of effect on the Texas legislature during the special session that just ended. Well, the new special session has already started. So there'll be a tactical discussion with State Representative Lon Burnham. And frankly, I couldn't think of a better person than State Representative Lon Burnham, who's been a progressive. He's been on our side all this time. And now he sits in the state legislature. He was the only one that voted against the Speaker of the House, you know.
Yep.
And they're all scared to death of the Speaker of the House, so the vote for the Speaker of the House nearly always unanimous. But anyway, Lon Burnham, that'll be at the La Madeleine on Lemon. And now, as for the rest of everything that's going to come off in the coming week or so, you're going to have to call in and tell me, because guess what? I left my notes at home. I jumped up this morning and printed my notes out and left them right there in the printer. I do know one thing: the Texas AFL-CIO convention is the 18th through the 20th. And that'll be at the Sheraton Grand Hotel up on Highway 114, right north of DFW Airport. And they are inviting people, but you can't just show up. You have to register. So you have to contact the Texas AFL-CIO. And if you want the phone number for contacting them, it's in my printer at home.
I'll bet I have that number.
Okay, well, maybe Bonnie can find it. Let's introduce our special guest, though. Micheal Wigington, an organizer for the big event on July the 4th, Take Back the 4th. Good morning, Micheal.
Good morning, Gene.
So what were you guys hoping to do, or what were we out there for on July the 4th?
We were out there to protest the recent revelations that that have been revealed about the NSA, as well as other overreaches of the government that take away from our Fourth Amendment rights.
So when people say, "Are you listening?" they now mean, is the government listening?
Exactly.
So. Especially because of what Edward Snowden did, right?
Yes, sir. The main catalyst of this movement have been the documents that Edward Snowden released. While we don't take an official stance on what Edward Snowden did or has done, we are greatly appreciative of the information that he has provided us, so we can finally figure out and bring to light what our government has been doing behind our backs.
If you think there's too much government spying, or if you don't think there's enough government spying, give us a call, 972-647-1893. Now, this wasn't the only event of this nature that took place on July the 4th, was it?
No, sir. There were events in major cities all across America, and even some protests in other countries to protest what our government is doing to our people.
Wow.
We had about 100 protests, I believe, across America.
100 of them, and you had a pretty good turnout on July the 4th here. And the thing that struck me was that there were so many new people there. I had the feeling that they were not the usual suspects. They were not people who are out with signs on the corners all the time. So how do you account for that? Getting so many new people stirred up. Is that something y'all did through your expertise, or was it just the topic?
I think it's the topic. The younger generation has been, that's admittedly a lot of who showed up, and a lot of what our outreach is going towards is to get people other than the younger generation into it. But we were a local grassroots organization that got its starts on Reddit and Facebook and a lot of social networking. So it's really the in-tune crowd who are on the internet all the time, and we're trying to branch out from that, because this is an issue that everyone should be upset about, or at least looking into and garnering their own opinion on.
So I was there. There were when I was there maybe about 80. People were still arriving, and you're right. The average age was probably in the 20s. You're 20-something yourself, right?
Yes, sir. 22.
22 years old. Well, let me tell you something. The rest of us are all trying to reach you. You're saying you want to reach out from the youth. Well, I think that's very commendable. But at the same time, the rest of us are getting pretty long of tooth out there on the streets. So to see a bunch of young people and new people like that was really mystifying, for one thing. I really want to know what the secret is. I want to know how to do that, because this is amazing. And I don't want the radio audience to miss this point. Micheal just told us that they started off on social media, and you named a couple of them. What were they?
Reddit and Facebook, Twitter, of course.
Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you recommend people do that?
Yes, definitely. I think a lot of the reason why we didn't have more people and why it was only the young crowd is, I've been looking on all the major news sites every day since these leaks have happened, and almost every article that even mentions the leaks is just talking about Edward Snowden, what he's done, where he's going, what his plans are, and none of it has been on the NSA and what they've been doing to us. So we're trying to get more people to refocus and pay attention to what the real big news is that the government's been tracking every email, every credit card transaction, every phone call, every message, and it's been recently revealed that every piece of physical mail you send through the post office gets a picture taken of it, and it goes into a database.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, expand on that. So they're now copying the envelopes that we mail through the mail service.
Yep, it's the same thing they're doing with email. Basically, they say they're only taking the headers, but that tells you when it was sent, who it was sent to, who it was sent by, and a lot of information. Mm-hmm. And that same information is on the front of every physical letter you send, and they're keeping that as well.
Okay, Bonnie, you want to give your opinion on this? Give the phone number too.
Oh, 972-647-1893. You know, I have to, this does not surprise me.
That the government's doing this.
Yeah. I've had a cell phone since 1989. I am certain that I have a dossier, pardon me, somewhere in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And you know, I got to the point several years ago, I don't care. I mean, they're going to do it. Yes, I think it is wrong. They say they're capturing terrorists. They have thwarted 50 terrorist plots.
They keep adding to it, too, don't they?
And I just want to say, my aching behind. That is just, it's just, we have to just keep moving forward. I understand how frustrated, especially young people, because, I mean, you guys grew up with computers and cell phones and smartphones, and we didn't. Mm-hmm. And I think from a technological standpoint, the ball's rolling now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take some of these calls. We'll get back to Michael for expanding on this, but apparently people already have opinions, so let's take them. 972-647-1893. Mike is on the line. Bring on Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Thanks for calling KNON, brother.
Yes, sir. You spoke about the special station in Austin. And I have one question, then I have some comments. The question is, I want to know why they're happy about killing babies. Why are people happy about blocking of a legislation to stop people from killing babies?
Okay, Michael, go ahead with your comment then.
Okay, my comment is we need solutions to all the problems that we're having, not just a bunch of conversations and rhetoric and lip service. We need some solutions. We know that DISD been having problems in Texas, especially in Dallas, for at least over 35, 40 years. And all we do is talk about it. Mm-hmm. So we need solutions to these problems. If they're not talking with solutions, you don't need them to be even in there. Okay. Bring some solutions. How do we solve these problems?
Okay. All right, Michael, thanks very much for calling. Let's take the next call, too. Christian is on line 3. Can you bring him on? Or her?
Yep.
Good morning.
Hey. Good morning, guys. I was just calling in to say kudos to that young organizer, man. It makes me happy to know that there are young people that are getting involved in doing things.
Amen.
And then I just wanted to highly encourage everybody, if you don't know what Reddit is, to go check it out. I found out about Reddit when I went to the Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart rally to restore insanity. That was something that kind of came from Reddit, and I think that was really the beginning of what that website's kind of starting to do now with this. And I don't know. I just wanted to say kudos. Check out the site if you guys can. There's a lot of activism that's coming from it.
Christian, let me ask you, if you don't mind, what's your age or age bracket?
I am 31, and once upon a time, I worked up at the Texas Capitol. I got really disillusioned with what I saw up there. But now with what's coming back out with all this NSA stuff, I think that it's time for me to get involved again.
Amen.
All right.
Bring it on.
Thanks very much. Bonnie,
love your show, guys.
Thanks a lot, Christian.
Thanks.
Bonnie, you want to take the question? Why
Yes.
are they killing babies?
Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with that aspect of the law. That's a very, very small portion of the law. The problem is there are 40 some odd clinics in the state of Texas that do offer that service, which is about 1% of their business. But the other services that they offer is health care for women. Mammograms, pap smears, health care for women. If this law passes, there will be 5 clinics in the state of Texas. 5 clinics.
For women's health.
For women's health.
Okay. So that's the issue on that.
That's the answer.
Thank you, Bonnie. Anybody else wants to call us at 972-647-1893? Let's get back to Michael, though. Michael, how did you personally get involved in this business of taking back the Fourth and standing up to government intrusion and government spying?
Well, basically, I was watching the news one day and I saw the leaks about Snowden, and most of what I saw was just talking about how he should be punished and he needs to be brought to justice. But I like to do a bit of deeper digging whenever I see anything, so I looked up what he leaked, and it's really terrifying. I know you said that you don't really care because the ball's already rolling and they're gonna do it, but I mean, they didn't even talk to us about it. It's one thing to say that it is necessary to have this security because we are in danger and this is something we have to do and it's unavoidable, but they didn't do that.
Right.
They passed secret laws in secret rooms with closed doors and started spying on every single one of us without our knowledge. And now, over 10 years after it started, they're saying, oh, big deal, it's been going on, everyone who really cared about it already knew anyway. So what's the big deal about it? Well, the big deal is that for the past 10 years, anybody who ever asserted that the government is recording all our phone calls and all this information would have been labeled a conspiracy theorist or a loon. And now
they're trying to make Snowden a terrorist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to lump him in with the terrorists.
I think.
I don't think he's a terrorist.
No.
I don't know. I'm not sure what he is. But the effort to demonize him, as you said, has been almost all there is in the news. Is just demonizing Edward Snowden, and nobody's saying, "Hey, here's what he said."
Right.
This guy's on the line. Okay, bring him on. Another caller. Good morning. Thanks for calling Knon.
Yeah, my name Michael. You paying your fair share of taxes?
All right, Michael. Thanks. I'm so glad to hear from you, brother. This is a guy who explained everything to us one time. He said if everybody paid their fair share, there wouldn't be no problem. Go ahead, Michael. What's up today?
I don't think the problem would be as bad. It's always gonna be problems. Sometimes the problem is the problem. But I'm calling in about all this old spying. They need to tell me something that I don't know. Anybody with any kind of sense know the government does some kind of spying. And what they're upset. I mean, you think the people upset would be the criminals and the rapists, serial killers, the child molesters. You think the criminals would be upset. I don't care about them listening to my conversation. I mean, they listening anyway. So what?
As long as you don't break any laws, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you some kind of activist, I see that this is a big issue now that I guess some white people done realize that they've been spying on. They've been spying on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and for years it wasn't this big giant uproar. We sure didn't have no media, to come to our defense. So what?
Well,
they probably have thwarted some terrorist acts.
Yeah,
That's
but Michael,
because they didn't happen.
Yeah, but Michael, don't you think if we could do something about it, that we should?
Yeah, but what you gonna do about it?
I don't know. I'm fixing to ask Michael Wigington, our guest for today. But I think we have to take a break first, so we'll be right back.
Well, I got to work this morning. Something seemed kind of strange. My buddy Joe was missing.
The Dallas Summer Food Program is returning this summer. The DISD Food and Child Nutrition Services, the Texas Department of Agriculture, and other sponsors are working together to offer the Summer Food Service Program from June 17th to August 2nd for Dallas children. Meals and snacks will be provided to children ages 1 through 18 at specific sites throughout Dallas. To find out more info, the phone number is 211, or their website is squaremeals.org. Or their text keyword is FoodTX at 877-877.
When they're gone for good. This is Scott from KNON's Texas Blues Radio telling you don't miss out on some great blues. KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. It's a CD put together by real blues fans for real blues fans like you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features great local blues from Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, JJ and the Detonators, the Chris Watson Band, the Two Tones, Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, Dave Millsap, Sirloin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Tutu Jones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Wigington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, and Johnny Red and the Roosters. Get a copy now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Recordtown in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. This is a Dallas Blues collector's item. A very limited amount of vinyl copies can be found at Forever Young Records, the sponsor of this great blues project. CD downloads are available at cdbaby.com. Whether you get it as a download, on vinyl, or on CD, all the proceeds will benefit KNON. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org.
Blue Monday. I hate Blue Monday. But I like Saturday. If you get far enough along in that song, he says, Saturday morning, all my tiredness has gone away. Let's see what Tony has to say. Thanks for calling, Tony.
How you doing?
All right. Glad to hear from you, brother.
You know, it's amazing to me how well Americans are about their rights for privacy and all this. When the Patriot Act was first passed, people raised flags up then. And the reality is this. Once the door is open then, you can't close it now. And granted, I'm not saying what President Obama and his administration doing is right, but now that it has 10 years to develop and to be sophisticated the way it is now, you got to go to the very first part when they first put it together. They put it together because of the fear of being attacked from outside. But the whole thing is, it was meant for the American people. We give our rights up soon as they pass the Patriot Act. So you have to challenge every person, Democrat and Republican, who signed that Patriot Act. And that's all I'm going to add to the conversation. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate it, Michael. Now, I want to ask Michael Wigington, who's our guest. That was Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. All right, I want to ask Michael Wigington, who's our guest today, though. Are you surprised to learn that older people, and especially African-American people, are not as shocked as you are to learn that the government is spying on them?
I'm not shocked at all to figure it out. Like I said, over the past 8 to 10 years, if anybody accused the government of spying on everyone and made those assertions, they were labeled as a conspiracy theorist. It was just flatly denied.
Not in the black community. Not in the black community. The black community remembers the death of Fred Hampton. They remember the death of Carl Hampton. I particularly remember the death of Carl Hampton. And they remember the spying on Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh, yes. And they have chalked this up a long time ago to something that is just one of the evils of the world. Now, how are we going to get people, everybody, including African American people, how are we going to get them to have some hope that you can stop some of the government spying, that we can have restore our rights and restore the Fourth as you're trying to do?
When these leaks were first put out, I forget exactly how high they got up in the Google Trends for people searching for the Fourth Amendment. But within about 2 to 3 weeks, it had dropped to nearly baseline levels. After our protests, it shot back up to nearly 80% of what it was at the time of the leaks. So we're getting the message out there as best as we can. We're looking for support everywhere. We're trying to get people to go online, look at sources other than what you see on the TV. Places like The Guardian, which the Department of Defense has blocked from their domains. If you're in the military, you can't access The Guardian because of all their files on the NSA. Our government has said that they haven't literally said, but by blocking The Guardian, they have said that they don't want the people that we're sending out to protect our country and die for our country to know what they're fighting for. So really, I think it's all about awareness. We just have to let people know what the government's doing, the fact that and one of the callers mentioned how the Patriot Act was passed all that time ago, and now it's already been expanded on, and how are we going to stop it now? But I mean, they aren't even using the publicly understood Patriot Act anymore. They have special secret interpretations of the law that Congress doesn't even have access to. They aren't allowed to know how we are interpreting the laws on the books in the first place. So really, we're all just about awareness and outreach at this point, because we figure if we can get enough people to know what the government is doing in the first place, then there will be enough backlash and enough calls to our senators, which actually Mozilla and a few other large internet sites have set up hotlines to get people in contact with their specific legislators and all these things like that.
So contacting your legislatures, that's pretty much your program. Trying to get them to pass new legislation, or try to get them to rescind old legislation? Or
we've ironed out a couple of main goals, one of which is to repeal the particularly Article 215 of the Patriot Act. That is the article that they have the super secret interpretation of that allows them to collect all this information on us. The second would be to hold those accountable for lying to the American people and getting these laws passed and expanded on to be, accountable to their actions. I mean, this is billions of, I'm sorry, I forgot the word. These are billions of felonies committed every single day. It is a felony to spy on American citizens like this.
And yet they're doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it every single day, and even now that it's been leaked and people are finding out about it, they're continuing right on collecting all your data. And that one caller said something about you'd think it'd just be the criminals and the activists and stuff speaking out about this, but I mean, America has 25% of the world's prison population. We have so many laws on the books that no single person in America can possibly know every single law. And every single day, every week, every month, new laws are added, and what's legal today may be illegal 5 years from now. And 5 years from now, they'll still have all your emails, all your calls, and they'll be able to go back and see if you were doing something that's now illegal.
972-647-1893. If you have a question for Michael or a comment on the whole question of government spying against people and or the whole legal structure of the United States, which seems to be challenged here. Now, Michael, you mentioned the Fourth Amendment. You said everybody's looking it up. What's it say?
The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to not, I don't have the exact text of it, but it's the right of the people shall not be infringed right to
privacy, I guess.
Yeah, it's the right to privacy shall not be infringed without due cause, and specifically it mentions that you need a warrant and probable cause to search anybody's files, place of residence, or anything like that. So they are not getting probable cause, they are not getting warrants, they are blindly casting a net and pulling in all our information to see if we happen to be doing anything illegal, and that is not what we were founded on.
So when you guys came up with the slogan, Restore the Fourth, you weren't talking about the 4th of July.
No, sir, we were talking about the Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which you're claiming now is being violated.
It's in tatters at this point.
Yes,
I want to know something from everybody, not only the people here in the studio, but also people that are listening. I want to know if you think people in America are afraid of the government. 972-647-1893. Are people in America afraid of the government? Now, frankly, I'm starting to worry about Michael. Because Michael's sitting right over here. Of course, he's sitting closer to Bonnie than he is to me. So Bonnie,
something going to rub off?
No,
maybe his youngness would rub off on me, and I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be 30 again.
No, lightning. I'm talking about, what if the government bursts in here any minute now with and this happened.
Dude, you're going too. I hate to tell you this.
Yeah, but you're closer. Are people in America afraid of their government? 972-647-1893. Michael, what do you think? Are people in America afraid of their government?
I mean, I am a little bit now, to know that they have all my information that I've ever sent out, all my personal correspondence that is supposed to be private between me and someone else, plus the fact that our prison population is already 25% of the world's prison population. We're putting a lot of people in jail.
And Texas is leading in that.
That's right. At least we're number one in something.
They just executed their 500.
That's right.
And Governor Perry, I think, now has the distinction of having executed more people than anybody in history.
I believe it's 234, something like that.
And Obama has the nice fact that he's persecuted more people under the Espionage Act than any other president combined.
Okay. Let's see what Carol has to say. Thanks for calling KNON.
Line 1.
That's line 1.
Okay.
No, it's line 3. I don't know. Bring it on anyway. Good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
We'll figure it out.
Can't get them because Doc can't get back to the board. There we go. You're on the air now. Good morning. Nope, not there. He's trying to get Carol. Shall we go on to Jason? Carol, you call us back. Jason, good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
Oh, thank you, sir. I just want to say that this is a topic that so many people need to hear. There are so many programs out there that and the problem is, if you educate yourself, they automatically say, "Oh, well, they're conspiracy theorists."
Uh-huh.
But what I was wondering is this person speaking a lot of truth, and that's dangerous in these times, of course. But doesn't the pursuit of happiness, the Constitution, constitutional law, don't those things trump the intel community's ability just to do anything they want? I mean, they've with the COINTELPRO, with the FBI, you have so many, and the Republicans say that they want small government, and right.
I mean, a lot of this happened under the Bush administration, but it's still going on now.
Yeah. And that's what's so sad is that when he said change, we did not want to set precedent for these changes from the Patriot Act.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's. Did Carol get back on yet? All right. Well, Carol, you call us again, and we'll move on to Imani because Imani's been waiting. Imani, what you got to say this morning?
And for these changes from the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's. Did Carol get back on yet? All right. Well, Carol, you call us again, and we'll move on to Imani.
He needs to turn down his radio.
Oh, he needs to turn down his radio.
Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, Imani.
How you doing?
Get your radio turned down. All right.
Okay.
We're doing okay. You want to comment on this business about government spying?
Oh, man, this thing is right ahead. I've been studying the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment about people going to prison. I mean, once you go to prison, it's like slavery because you lose your rights if you read the 13th and 14th Amendment. Mm-hmm. And I'm very concerned. I've been studying Babylon and Roman empires.
Yeah.
And each one of them started out kind of like a capitalist society where all the rich got all the power and the poor had nothing.
Uh-huh.
So sooner or later, the poor had to overthrow the rich, and that's where America is right now. We are right at the Babylonian period of society, and it's very, very scary because you got everybody at the top making all the rules, and then I'm watching Syria, I'm watching Egypt, I'm watching all these countries being overthrown, really, by, I think, about certain government is doing this for power, the rich. And it's scary because everybody's buying up all the guns with you. 300 million guns they bought up. And I'm looking for the bottom to try to come to the top so later they won't have any choice because there's too many laws and regulations and rules and that we can't live by, and it's scary for a democracy, man.
Let me clarify now, Imani. Are you calling for an overthrow of this government, or are you just predicting one?
No, not overthrow it. I want to save it.
Oh, you want to save it? Okay.
Yeah, I want to let's relook at the Constitution. Let's relook at capitalism, because when you got all the wealth at the top and they're making rules about, I was listening to the new press they're going to make and then Europe, this guy going to be better than everybody else's, baby. He's going to tell you what they, what I'm saying is everybody, we say we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equally, endowed by their Creator with unalienable rights. And what's scary to me is that all people in this country are not created equally. Freedom, justice, and equality.
That makes sense to me. Let's turn back to Micheal now. He's got to answer some questions. Jason asked, how come the Constitution is not trumping all of this Patriot Act and stuff like that? Can you answer that?
Honestly, it should be. And in my eyes, the people who have been committing these acts of spying on U.S. citizens are committing felonies. They are going directly against the Constitution. Just because they've written laws in secret and have secret interpretations of those laws does not nullify our Constitution. Our Constitution and our Bill of Rights was something that before we would even come together as a country, everyone had to agree on. It is the founding document.
Right.
And the fact that they're trying to completely do away with it at this point is insane.
Okay, so you're answering Jason. You're saying that the Constitution should be trumping it, but it's not.
Yep. It's up to us to raise enough of a fuss and force our legislature to uphold the Constitution and hold these people accountable. James Clapper was found directly lying to Congress. That is perjury. That is a crime. And yet nothing seems to be happening to the director of national security.
Is that what he is?
I forget exactly what his title is. But he's one of the directors and one of the high-ups in Obama's cabinets.
Okay. 972-647-1893. We've got a pretty good discussion going on this thing.
Do.
Now, I want to return to something Imani said, because he's talking about governments being overthrown. I assume that the government's being overthrown by young people, and I want to point out that they're using social media.
Yep.
They are very happy to say so. And Micheal started right off, our guest started right off talking about social media as being the main way that they organized the event that took place here in Dallas on July the 4th.
Yes,
so
sir.
this is something everybody needs to get up on. Is that true? I mean, if you're serious about changing things, if you're serious about talking to the youth, if you're serious about making some difference, then you need to be on social media.
Exactly. It's a really amazing tool. The internet has given us the capacity to communicate and connect with other people that we've never seen before, and the rise of the social media is only accelerating that.
Oh, heck, we have to take a break. We got Carol waiting. Carol, wait until after the break. We'll be right back.
Tell you all a story that's close to me.
Recycle Revolution is a local recycling collection service and community drop-off center. They collect and accept all traditional recyclables, including paper, plastic, aluminum, cardboard, and glass, as well as TVs, computers, lamps, light bulbs, batteries, ballasts, and styrofoam. They offer collection services to apartments, condos, and businesses. They also offer a community drop-off located at 1703 Chestnut Street in Dallas. For more information, 214-566-3025 or recyclerevolutiondallas.com.
is relentless, for goodness sakes alive.
We're back on the Workers' Beat. Gene Lantz, buddy Mathias, with our guest Michael
Wigington.
Yes, sir. And we're talking about the government spying on people and what needs to be done about it and how to get organized. And I didn't have the phone number a while ago for the AFL-CIO. Texas AFL-CIO is inviting people to come to their convention, which is July the 18th through 20th. They're going to hear Richard Trumka.
Yep.
He's the head of the AFL-CIO and really one of the most progressive voices in America today. Now, don't look down your nose at American labor. American labor is the biggest, most progressive, largest and richest, and got more buildings and everything else than anybody else on the so-called left in America. So give the number, Bonnie. If you want to go to this convention, you have to get registered, and here's the number.
512-477-6195. The convention will be held at the Sheraton Grand Hotel in Irving. It is the only union hotel in the DFW Metroplex. So
okay, that's why they're having it there.
Yes, sir.
And that's on Highway 114, just right up above the DFW airport. It's almost at the gate.
Yeah, Esther's. Esther's is the exit. It's the big hotel on the left.
Uh-huh. All right, so that's for the AFL-CIO. If people want to call, 972-647-1893, and we've been waiting for Carol. Thanks for calling KNON. And once again, I don't hear. Carol, good morning, KNON. Don't hear anything. Well, we lost him or her again. Is this a her or a him? Yeah. It's a him. Well, usually it's two R's if it's a him. Okay. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Carol, call again. I'm sorry. We keep losing you. Well, apparently Carol doesn't have time to wait, and we had to wait through the break, and I don't blame people at all, because a lot of people call us, believe it or not, while they're at work. And they're slip sliding around a little bit, and making sure the boss doesn't hear them. So, Michael, what do we do to help you? How can anybody get behind the effort to restore the Fourth Amendment in the United States and restore our right to privacy? More than anything else, that's what we need to tell KNON listeners.
All right. Well, if you want to help out, or even if you only want more information and want to figure out what's been going on, since it's so hard to find on the news, we encourage everyone to go to Reddit and search for Restore the Fourth, all spelled out. We encourage people to go to the restorethefourth.net and join us. You can find all the pages to the local Restore the Fourth movements there. TheGuardian.uk has had some great reporting on the NSA files and what's actually been going on, if you want information on that instead of just what Snowden up to. Facebook.com, search for Restore the Fourth, 4TH. We're on all of the major social media. We're on Reddit. Just look us up. And
so Restore the Fourth has got a numeral in it, so it's not spelled F-O-U-R-T-H. It's the numeral 4 and then T-H.
On Facebook, it's 4TH. On Reddit, and as far as our official website, it is spelled out. restorethefourth.net for our website, and Restore the Fourth, search it on Reddit.
So that'll give you information. But what are people supposed to do? What do you want people to do?
Really, at this point, we're trying to get people educated. That's the biggest thing, is I don't think a lot of people know about this, or people would be more angry. But as far as once you know what's going on, you can join our local pages. We'll have more events in the future. We actually have one scheduled coming up on the 20th. That Saturday. We'll be meeting at Clyde Warren Park at, I believe, 11 a.m. But just look up restorethefourth.net. You'll find a link on that website to our local Dallas movement, and that will have all the Reddit links, all the Facebook links, all the links you could want. Go to restorethefourth.net. And please join us for the potluck/picnic in the park at Clyde Warren Park on the 20th.
Okay, on the 20th at 11 a.m. Do people bring their own signs?
We had a lot of people bring signs. I think this one is, we'll probably have signs and posters and everything like that, but we're more focused on getting people into there and making connections between the people who do show up and try and get more solidarity within the group. But bring your own signs. If you don't, we'll most likely have sign-making materials there in the park the day of. Bring water, bring food, bring whatever you'd like. We do encourage people to dress up as much as they are comfortable doing. If you don't want to dress up, we don't want you to feel excluded. Please show up in whatever you want. But if you do have nice clothes, we fully encourage people on dressing up as much as they wish.
So you're trying to appeal to the mainstream.
Yes, we're trying. A lot of the movements recently have been rather demonized, and we are trying as much as we can to stay completely nonviolent, staying family-friendly, accepting everyone we possibly can, and keeping our focus narrow onto simply restoring the Fourth Amendment and holding those accountable who have infringed on it.
And so somebody wants to talk about abortion or some other issue, you'd really rather they didn't at this thing?
At the protest, we are trying to solely focus on the Fourth Amendment. We don't care what your other political views are. We may share most of them, but this is mainly focused on the Fourth Amendment. And many of the people who are there are activists and going to other protests as well. So it is a great place to make contacts and everything like that if you are anti-abortion or pro-abortion. We're completely nonpartisan. Everyone is welcome.
972-647-1893.
What time? Tell me what time on the 20th. Tell us what time.
I believe it is at the 11th. I'm sorry.
The 11th on the 20th.
At 11. I'm sorry.
11 o'clock on the 20th.
Okay.
Why Clyde Warren Park?
It is a fairly nice park. It's got a view from the freeway. People driving along the freeway can see the park, so that makes it very visible. It's right in downtown Dallas where there's a lot of traffic. Basically, that's it.
Well, there's another park that's much more downtown. It's on Main Street. Clyde Warren Park's got so many rules, and it's also kind of controversial. They sold us that park, telling us that it was all going to be donated. It wasn't going to be any tax money involved in it, and they do that all the time. They say this: we're going to get this new museum, and don't you worry, it's not going to be any tax money. And then, of course, it is. It's all tax money, and it's the money that they took away from the swimming pools. So Clyde Warren Park is not one that the common people are really crazy about. I think it's one that the rich people are nuts about for sure, because it's another handout for them from our tax money. But
welcome to Dallas.
I mean, you're right. I did see those news articles about how they're now asking the businesses around the park to help support for the maintenance for it, and
all of them went.
They're asking for tax money. They're asking for a special tax to support it.
But I mean, we are
after being told, that this is all just going to be donated.
But like I said, we're local, grassroots. We just kind of got together on Reddit. We all said, hey, we're angry about all these revelations. Let's get a group of people and yell about it.
So you didn't even know each other. You just met on this Reddit, social media.
Yep. I've only been an activist for a short amount of time now. I am very new to it. I knew hardly anybody at the protest, but I did make the connections online. We met several times before the protest, got to know each other. And I appreciate what you said about Clyde Warren Park and mentioning that it's controversial, because that is certainly something we'll take into consideration. I'm a local Wileyite. I come from out east in Wiley.
Wow.
And had to travel into Dallas for the protests, so I don't have a lot of information on what the locals and what people in general think about the areas and things like that. So we welcome everybody's opinion. If it's a good idea, we'll take it. We don't have a real ironed-in specific leadership where what one person says goes. It's more someone throws out an idea, we try and reach a consensus amongst all the ideas thrown in there, and pick whatever we can figure out that looks like it'll work the best.
972-647-1893. Maybe you want to go over Michael's plans for the organizing this thing. If you're for it, and I think most people would be, if you're for it, maybe you want to give him some advice. He says he's just getting started. 972-647-1893. Bring it on. Another caller. Thanks for calling KNON.
Hello?
Yeah, we're glad to hear from you.
Okay, my name's Joan, and my husband said to me that the gentleman that blew the whistle on the government should be covered under the Whistleblowers Act.
Uh-huh.
He shouldn't be able to be prosecuted for it.
Good point, Joan.
And
let's see what Michael thinks.
There was a quote from Ron Paul recently stating that under the Espionage Act, it is whenever somebody reveals and gives information to the enemy. And depending on how the government treats Snowden for releasing this information to the American people, will show exactly what the government considers us as. And I agree with you entirely. He should be covered under the Whistleblower Act because he is a whistleblower. All of our news agencies keep calling him a leaker, but he blew the whistle.
Mm-hmm. So he called attention to illegal acts,
exactly.
In your opinion. Mm-hmm.
And I think he should be covered.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Joan.
And the Patriot Act, because of the Patriot Act, I have 9 children. I had them all at home.
Mm-hmm.
But during the 9/11, all of that section of the city was closed, and I couldn't get down to the records place. I've been battling 10 years to get 2 of my children's birth certificates.
Really?
So I wrote all my congressmen, and I wrote the vice president, and he sent me a nice letter back saying that he couldn't help the situation, but he did open a file on us.
Oh, great.
Okay? And I'll tell you. And I'll tell you truthfully, I sent all the information to the records place, and they lost all the information on my daughter. Sent back some of my sons, most of it, and they told me that I had insufficient funds. Now I didn't have insufficient funds, and so when I redid it again, after I called all these congressmen, they wanted everything, and I let them know, well, I only have the one letter from my brother and a friend of his that they states that they seen me pregnant and and I had the child. I said, that is the only thing I have left of my daughter. And they said, no, we want original stuff, and we need these things. Okay?
And the stuff didn't exist?
No, because they lost it.
Oh, I see.
They sent me back just one child's paperwork and that one letter.
Yeah.
On the second child.
This was records, for the city of Dallas?
Right. And I can't get them Social Security numbers because they don't accept shot records and things like that or school papers unless they have a date on them. The child is this year old this year old that year.
Yeah.
They'll accept the baptismal paper, but because they're not baptized, I don't have one.
I see.
But they don't take shot records or school records or anything.
Okay.
They don't even take their own records.
All right. Thanks for calling, Joan. And if somebody knows what to do about this, how do you get a birth certificate for a kid that's already born? 972-647-1893. Now, Michael, getting back to government spying, you're saying that everybody can make a difference on this, or do you think it's just a futile gesture?
I don't think it's futile at all. The government relies on the people to function. If enough people get angry, and a lot of people are discouraged because, you see one political candidate, you don't like him, well, you only have one other choice, and if you don't like him, then there's nobody to vote for. But our candidates have not been representing us. The ones in office have not been representing our interests. So if enough people get angry, all we have to do is vote out the current people, and that will send a very strong message to the people they get replaced by that unless they actually represent us, then we're going to get rid of them as well.
Excellent.
So if you find politicians that won't stand up against government spying, you're saying vote against them?
Yes, basically.
But at the same time, you're nonpartisan. You don't really have a political party or anything. You're saying that just go by whether or not they stand up on government spying.
Not just government spying. In general, for Restore the Fourth, that's what we're particularly protesting, yes. But across America and in general, our representatives have not been representing us, be they Democrat or Republican. If they do not represent your interests, then kick them out. People need to know that they can do that, and it's not Democrat versus Republican. If a Democrat's not representing you, even if you consider yourself a Democrat, then vote for the Republican guy because the Democrat's not representing you.
Do you know, Michael, that in voting demographics, that young people are the worst voters in America?
I do. In fact, I have not voted in any presidential elections. I think I've only been eligible for one. But up until 6 or 7 months ago, I was very apolitical. I was very discouraged about the entire situation.
So now you think that you can get young people to vote. That's very commendable. Let's let Josephine have a shot. Good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
Yeah, I just wanted your guests to know that downtown Dallas has a lot of cameras, and they were donated by corporations, and they're the ones that hired the people to monitor those cameras, and I just want him to know that, and the people that are behind the cameras, I really believe that they have the same mindset as Zimmerman, the one that killed Trevor. I really believe that. And I think there's racism of who's, those guys, those people that are behind the monitors. And they are the ones that if, they have the contact to contact the police, whether it's the Dallas police or another police like the Dark police or even El Central College,
or Homeland
they
Security.
see somebody. If they see somebody, they'll say go after that person. But the person can, they're not doing anything. They just don't like the way they look, just like the way it happened in Florida. And I'm letting him know that this the corporations that are running the cameras downtown Dallas, and that happened over there, and it's probably still going on at where Walmart. When they opened their store over there by Skillman and close to 75, they had the same thing happen over there. I just want him to know, and there's a lot of Zimmerman in that area. That Florida is not the only place where it has a Zimmerman. I just wanted to, and be careful about the cameras. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Josephine.
All right.
That's a very good point. There are cameras going up all over Dallas, and we're talking about government intrusion.
And Gene, I have to say, there actually has been some good things that have come out of the cameras in downtown Dallas. The police were able to capture several folks that have robbed and mugged people. In downtown Dallas, one of them being an AT&T employee a few years ago. I don't particularly like cameras being everywhere because they're not always being used for fighting crime. Well, I guess it could be considered fighting crime if it's their kind of crime.
That's kind of their argument.
I know, right?
And I think Michael's argument is that they misuse it.
Oh,
Michael, we got to give you the
absolutely.
last minute, though. We're running out of time. Want to summarize and ask people to get active?
The last thing I'd like to remind people is there are things called fusion centers. This is known, this has been reported, this is not conspiracy. There are things called fusion centers where people like the NSA, the CIA, the FBI gather, and they share information with each other. And targets of these fusion centers have been things like Ron Paul supporters and things like African colleges. So people should be scared. People should be angry about this. Please, everybody, go to restorethefourth.net and figure out what you can do and get with the local protests and organizations and make your voice heard, please.
Okay, we got to go. We'll be back next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.